What's good, everybody? This is Translation powered by Translation Media. I am your host, Nick Beam, along with my co-host,
Kurt Blair in the building.
And today we got a special guest in the building, Jarron Gray, who is the chairman of the board for the Urban Chamber. So we're going to go ahead and kick back with him. He's also a Las Vegas native, which is very hard to find because there's a lot of transplants and activity in this city.
Including me.
Yeah, including Nick.
Too.
Yeah, but respectfully, we got you in the seat. And so, we want to kick back, we want to talk business. We want to talk about the nature in the state of Las Vegas and just, all things that we typically talk about here at Translation. So
tell us what's popping going on in the urban community, Mr. Chairman of the board.
Yeah, man, there's a lot going on, right? The government just opened back up.
For sure.
So now there's some more interest in getting access to capital, some more interest around getting business activity going on as well. One of the things I will say, we do have a special session going on right now up in Carson City. It is a jacked up situation. I didn't want to curse. I don't know if we can curse. You
can curse on here. Yeah. Spit your game, talk your shit, bro.
Yeah, it's a jacked up situation right now. Yeah. We have this governor's bill that's around policing black people in our communities right now, which is jacked up. We have another bill that's going on right now around the studios being able to come here to Nevada, Sony Studios. Some other folks.
Something just landed, didn't it? Something just landed, or no?
They passed the bill, right?
They passed the bill. But it went through a special session now, so they have to get another approval for it. It got passed through. One portion of it now has to go to the next portion. They're voting today. Matter of fact, I think it's at 3:00 or whatnot to have the vote.
Okay.
But there's just a lot of activity going on in the city, right? We got the Aces coming here. We got, excuse me, not the A's, but the A's.
Yeah.
The Aces just won another
3 out of 4 championships.
Right?
We big in that WNBA out here. We rocking that.
We got the crappy Raiders here. I don't know about them, but
they'll get it together, man. They can't have the Raiders fail in Las Vegas.
We saw the game last night, right? 33 to what? It was 33 to 15 or 33 to 13. Then there was more Cowboys in the stadium than it was Raiders.
Oh yeah, it's always.
Right? But that's the premise of Las Vegas, though. Honestly, that's what I think they.
It's another reason to come to Vegas.
Yeah, it's another reason for everybody to come. So every football game that's here, you're gonna have the out of towners.
Grits Cafe, Trina over there. I was running Grits Cafe. The restaurant was flooded with Cowboys fans. Flooded because they just came into town just to watch the game.
Correct.
Right. So it's a good look, but at the same time, it looks a little funny, right? You go to other cities, like say you go to a Chicago or you go to
Cleveland.
a Pittsburgh or a Cleveland, it's going to be all Cleveland fans. It's going to be all Pittsburgh fans. I would love for us to get to that point at some point.
We will. Yeah.
Right? But they're pricing us out a little bit. So hopefully that can change over time. But I don't know how they're going to do it. Everybody wants to live in Vegas.
It's a home road game, I'd say.
Other than today, the weather's always nice. Right? We got the little rain today, but other than today, the weather's always nice. We got no state taxes, right? Our tax income is actually on the lower end of everything, right? Because we have other sources of income from the revenue from the casinos and things like that. But yeah, it's just a great place to live. So
no, definitely.
I agree. I mean, we've been here for 10 years, 8 to 10 years, and you're right. Like, there's so much potential and opportunity that Vegas offers. Being Midwesterners, and you mentioned sports. Sports is big in where we're from. You know, so ideally, I would like for us to adapt a love for Raiders and more support. Obviously, they got to lower that ticket cost. They did a study on the Legion Stadium and the Raiders Stadium, and they said that that's the most expensive ticket in American sports.
Dude had to pay for that house.
One of the most expensive tickets in American sports.
Up on the hill, pay for that house on the hill.
But yeah, for all that money for a team that's not winning is crazy. Yeah. And then on the flip, you have the Aces, who shout out to the Aces for winning their 3rd championship 3 out of 4 years.
Shout out to Asia Wilson and the
shout out to Asia Wilson and the rest of the squad. Becky Ham, all of them. Yeah. And then you have the Golden Knights, who stay in playoff runs. With a Stanley Cup championship. So, and the city gravitated towards them tremendously.
Day one.
Yeah, with the unfortunate situation that happened at Mandalay, I think one of the biggest things that was amazing was the city rallied together to donate to people that lost their loved ones, but also how they also gravitated towards the Golden Knights. So there was like 2 things that was community driven, where I saw Vegas's potential to really grow as an actual community, because for the longest time they talked about it being super transient, and you don't you realize it is not that transient when you get here. You just have to know where to live to get a community. So
and you
talk about that a little bit.
You talk about October 10th. I'm like, shoot, everybody galvanized around that, right?
Oh,
Everybody came together and said, okay, we're going to support those people that have family members that were down there, all that stuff. And I know people personally that were down there were getting phone calls. I know first responders that had to go down there and, drive and get loved ones and all that kind of stuff. It was a crazy time.
Oh, yeah.
But the city galvanized around that event, right? Mm-hmm. And the same thing next year, right after that, they had the same event the next year. Mm-hmm. So it's like, okay,
we're not fear. We're not in fear. We're strong.
It's so resilient.
Vegas strong,
right? And we are Vegas strong. And then we always talk about our city is one of the biggest, the best cities around crowd control. Mm. So when you see how they navigate people to the Raiders games, how they navigate people, there was the big soccer event that happened earlier this year as well, and then we got F1 this week, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like our city is great about crowd control, event control, all that kind of stuff. So we move around it very well. Mm-hmm. So it's not a problem for us at all. It's more of a, what I want to say, it's more of an opportunity for us. I think people are seeing those opportunities more now and how to get involved with those opportunities. Right. And that's what I love. Mm-hmm. And from my standpoint, like being a small business advocate, I'm always going to say, okay, how do we get our small businesses more involved around these opportunities? Right. How do we get contract opportunities? How do we get access to capital? How do we get more involved around? I just want an opportunity. Mm-hmm. And I always say our small businesses want resources and relationships. Mm-hmm. They don't want handouts. They don't want to say, okay, just give me money, give me money, give me money. They want resources and relationships. It's long-sustaining opportunities for them to build the legacy that they started way back when, right? So if they was in business for 8 years, 10 years, they want to build that legacy. Mm-hmm. And that's what I always say to people. Give them the resources and the relationships, and they will do the rest.
Figure out the rest, right?
They will do the rest. But from a community aspect, like you said, and I'm sorry, I didn't mean
No, you good. No, you good.
But from a community aspect, being born and raised here, right, growing up, seeing the Marios grow, seeing, Sonny's Market has gone away, but I grew up with Sonny's Market, Mario's, growing up with some of these institutions,
real Vegas.
Jimmy's, some of these institutions that were here in Vegas. I'm sad to see them go. Right. One of my favorite spots to go is Boston Pizza. If they shut down Boston Pizza, I'll probably cry. Right. I would probably cry. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's like...
Ain't that right over there by Tap and Ash?
Yeah.
That's what we
go to Boston Pizza. We go to Tap and Ash.
For sure.
We go to Boston Pizza afterwards. Get you some of the best wings in town, some of the best chicken fingers. It's like, I introduce everybody to Boston Pizza, but I'm like... Vegas doesn't keep a lot of that stuff. Some of those legacies just go and they rotate and they move on, they rotate. Mario's used to be Jimmy's. Mm-hmm. And then Jimmy opened another location. Mm-hmm. So it's like all these things just come and go. But it's because we don't support them. Okay, if we don't support them and do it in the right way, one of the things that Grits did that was so dope, and I'll just add this point, they got a relationship with the cab drivers. Mm-hmm. And so the cab drivers started taking people from the strip over to Grits and said, okay, I know a good restaurant. We want to get some soul food. Yeah. Boom, I'm taking you to Grits. Yep. And I'll take you from Mandalay Bay. I'll take you from, MGM, and we're going to go to Grits. Right. But a lot of these black businesses don't have that same mentality. Mm-hmm. So we trying to build that community, right? Yes. You see a M&M didn't last, right? H&H didn't last. We got all these different aspects of our community that just didn't last. Right. And it saddens me sometimes,
No, it should. Yeah. It should. I think the biggest thing that I've learned in living in Vegas so long is the changing of the local economy, right? Mm-hmm. Like, most people that come here don't realize. They think, oh, you live there. Where you live at, on the Strip? Mm-hmm. It's like, nah. No, but you got to do your history on Vegas. There's a lot of enriched history, especially for people of color in Vegas. You just got to know where to look. Yeah. And I think the biggest thing, too, is not being afraid. Like, one thing that I'm big on is galvanizing an opportunity to where, I can invite somebody to, a good friend of mine owns Parlor down on 6th and Carson. Mm-hmm. I love that place. I love him, Antonio. He's from the Chicano community. But he's a staple as far as I'm concerned. He's got 3 locations now. So the problem is people, we have to get comfortable enough with marketing what goes on off the Strip. We the ones have to be the trailblazers and the pioneers to say, hey, I got a spot for you. You know, because most of the time, and I'm sure you deal with it too, especially being from here, is as soon as you pick up the phone, I know for me, oh, I'm at Parlor. Oh, where is that? That's a new spot on the Strip? And it's like, nah, it's not on the Strip. It's downtown. You know, Tap and Ash. You want to smoke a cigar, go to Chocolate City. You know, where's Chocolate City at? We took Cam Newton around when we was trying to convince Cam Newton to do his tour off the Strip. Because him and Brandon Marshall was doing their tour, and then Cam's got the plethora of podcast shows he's doing, which are great. But he had came to visit, and they were doing that tour, and we're like, look, you got to do stuff off the Strip. I told him this, and his camp that was there with us knows that I told him this. I was pioneering that, championing that, the whole conversation. And come to find out, the owners of Chocolate City modeled their cigar lounge around Fellowship, which was assuming this is Cam Newton's spot in Atlanta. You know, because Cam is a big cigar smoker. You know, but
he got that from me though.
Oh, he got that for you. But again, Cam doesn't know where to look if he's not coming to Vegas off the Strip.
Correct.
So I think the biggest thing too is we got to rally around the local community and uplift and market. You know, and that's something that Translation Media will pretty much plan to do. And I think that's something that we want to do that brings that local community together to where we amplifying the voices of those businesses. Black business, Chicano business, whatever the business is, if it's local. Because like we talked about with F1, I remember when we got F1 the first year, there was this big issue because first it was the promise of, we're bringing F1 for 10 years, international, more international business, all the businesses around will benefit from it, and then they start blocking the businesses with, you know, bridges and ramps and all kind of different things. So it became a problem because these businesses suffered. And it's like, well, if I'm in a lease and I'm not making money and you're making all this money off of this race, I don't benefit from that. And, you know, I saw that as a problem because I'm like, yo, you're over promising something to a local community that is already struggling. You know,
I mean, but you know, understand that they're going to do what they're going to do to get the business here initially. But they Donald Trump the thing, you know, say there's no Project 2025, but it's a Project 2025. So, you know, they're going to do what they're going to do for the businesses to come here and get what they need to get done. But at the same time, that's the reason why we had to be, people such as yourself at the Urban Chamber are so important. That's the reason why we brought you here today, so we can start amplifying your voice on a bigger scale to try to make sure that people in the small businesses still get their reach and get their touch. Because that's what the key is. Because that's on the top heavy side of the political thing when it comes to business, they're going to get what they're going to get done, and they don't mind if they step on the little man and that they move the little man out the way. And that's the reason why we got to continue to amplify. So when these people do come here, we have a platform that can say, hey, when you're coming here for Formula One, these are the restaurants. If you want to get some soul food, you want to champion a urban establishment or something like that, go to these. This is the directory that we have for you to be able to go to those different places. Here, go to Lolo's, go to Tap and Ash, go to all these different places that are able to be able to, that are a staple, that want to be a part of the Vegas culture, but are pushed to the side because honestly, we understand the Strip. We understand it keeps keeps state taxes away. It does a lot for the state of Nevada, but at the same time, there's still opportunity for the small business. That's just the way of the world. It should be. They're moving the middle market away, but we got to continue to be a rally around those small to medium sized businesses to make sure that we can help them on a long scale and continue to generate revenue.
I have an observation real quick.
Go ahead.
I have a very and I want to say this to you now because one, we're on camera, and we see you as an ally and a partner. You know, everybody that we bring on the show, we aim to have a relationship with, professionally, personal relationship with you. My observation is this, and the reason why I got to say it because I've said this off camera, but I want to make sure that we're recording. This is the perfect place to do it. I believe, based off of my conversations with people that are also local, because I got a handful of people that I rock with that are locally based, that are homegrown here. And the moans and groans that I've heard is their expectation of support from the Strip. And I'm not saying they're saying those exact words, but you would think because so much business comes through Las Vegas that this automatically in turns make an opportunity for your business to be successful. And although that is true, that can be the furthest thing from the truth, because you still have to do the legwork. Just because there's a F1 or a summer league or whatever it is, convention after convention, it does not mean your business is going to thrive just because there's bodies in the city. There has to be some legwork, and from there's no incentive for the Strip to enhance the business of the local market, because that's not their business model. Mm-hmm. And after hearing these conversations over and over again, I came to that conclusion where I'm like, well, both sides are right. I understand the local market. I understand the tourist market, because if I'm running the tourist market, there's no incentive for me to worry about the local market. My business is tourism. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to focus solely on tourism. Whatever you get from that is on you. But as a local, especially spending so much time here and caring about the local businesses, there has to be some pipeline formed and understanding or plan of action to where we come together like we're talking about right now, and we have something in place so when these events do happen, we're able to pipeline. And Curtis brought up great examples of how we can do that. Having a database, but taking it a step further though. Not just having the database, but finding ways to incentivize, maybe even using some of the strategies that the Strip uses. There's kickback for taxis and ride shares to go to the dispensaries and to the gentlemen's clubs and the restaurants and stuff like that. Maybe we figure that out, or we, evolve what that plan is. But I see the disconnect, and I understand why there is one, but I agree with it and I disagree with it. There's elements where I do agree because I understand the business models. Yeah. But then I disagree because the local business should be enhanced. So I wanted to put that point on camera because I've been having these conversations. I've had them with Curtis. I've had them with friends around the city. And I'm sharing that with you to see where we can draw a line in the sand and create that strategy and move forward from there.
So I'm going to answer it in three parts, right? So I'm going to give you the trumpism answer. So I got to answer it in three parts. So first of all, we got to hold these properties accountable, right? So we talk about an MGM, a Venetian, a Sands Corp, or whoever, right? We got to hold them accountable to the community. And not only to the community, but the small business community, which is even a smaller subsect, right? And you say, okay, where are the contracts, where are the opportunities that have inputs to that operation, right?
What does that look like, though? Like, what is that?
So say I'm doing the linens. Mm-hmm. I'm washing the linens. Maybe I'm providing the chips for the tables, right? Maybe I'm providing cleaning services for some of the restaurants. There's a lot of input goods that are not done within the casino. They have to hire out for
third party,
right? Third party, right? And MGM, and credit to MGM did a great program a few years ago. We got one of our board members through that program with AA Printing. They were able to do printing services for MGM, right?
Mm-hmm. So shout out to AA Printing.
Yeah, John Pennington, good dude. But definitely. That was one of the programs they did, right? So that's showing accountability and saying, hey, we're going to provide those services. But then also understanding what the community really needs. Right. And so the community is saying, we don't want to gamble that much. We don't want to go to the Strip to gamble. We want experiences. Mm-hmm. And guess what you're seeing now? You're seeing more experiential things going on the Strip. Yep. Now you talk about the Sphere. You start talking about
Area 15. Area 15, different the terror thing that's coming. Universal Studios.
You start talking about more experiential things. Mm-hmm. So we just have to hold them accountable, right? So that's number one. Number two, what I would say is from a community aspect, we have to support them. Mm-hmm. We can't say just because we live in Vegas, we're not going to go to the Strip. Yeah. I know my wife and I, we go eat dinner on the Strip on a regular basis. We'll go to Water Grill, we'll go to Caesars, we'll go to all kind of places, right? We're going to Strip 80, whatever, right?
I think people go to the Strip. It's just not as frequent as you may as everybody thinks that a Vegas person should. Because I go to the Strip all the time, but at the same time, I understand why somebody wouldn't go to the Strip, because Station Casinos has almost everything that you need outside the Strip besides shows. Besides shows and entertainment, they got almost everything that you need off the Strip.
But guess what? That just shows we have options. Right?
We definitely have options, but at the same time, like even with living here, the obligation, I don't really think it lies because they're getting the tourism that they want on a regular basis. I mean, it's scaled back. I mean, the numbers are down now, but now Vegas locals probably should be in more of an incentive. But at the same time, now, like I said, that conversation has to be had from the top downs of saying, hey, we're gonna have to give back to some of these businesses and to the cities, lower these rents, bring some of these restaurants to the Strip. Yeah, like Mr. Fry's, man, he's in Allegiant, but he's not. But he's not in like a Caesars or MGM. Correct. So you got to be able to have those because those are the type of businesses that would thrive in that. A Grits would be loved, but you got to lower the rents. They can't afford those rents in it.
Yeah. I mean, M&M tried to open another location, and it didn't do it.
Yeah.
Right. So we see it happening too often, right? Mm-hmm. The city's got to be more incentivized to not only focus on small business, but the community aspect of it as well.
Right.
What is the community asking for? Right, so like I live up north. I live in Aliante, right? Mm-hmm. Up in Aliante, I can name maybe 5 black-owned businesses in Aliante. Mm-hmm. There aren't many, but I got Dutch Brothers, I got Starbucks, I got all these other businesses. Right. Where's the support and the galvanization around black businesses?
Right,
we don't see it enough.
So we need a black coffee company.
Hey. I don't know if it's a coffee company, if it's, we got Waffle Cafe, but everybody's doing same thing, the same line, the same industry. But I'm like, maybe it's a black-owned smoke shop. Maybe it's a black-owned, T-shirt company that opens up out there. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know, but
whatever it is.
Yeah, but the fact that I can name only maybe 4 or 5 in the north, that's not good.
Well, here's the thing. So I was you had 2 parts that I know you wanted to finish too, so I bookmarked that.
Did I cut you off?
You did, but it's cool. It's cool.
No, I just wanted to make sure. That's why
I'll take it, man.
Bookmark that. But
at least you notice.
Matter of fact, I think the biggest thing is understanding the populace of Las Vegas. It's not a big place; it's a small town, right? And so, if the nature of business isn't driven toward Aliante, then businesses won't go up there. Mm-hmm. There's businesses popping up all over Southwest in the Summerlin area.
Correct.
Right? Durango's there, booming. They're going in the second phase.
Blue Diamond, definitely booming.
Yeah, Blue Diamond, Mountain's Edge.
I'm going to cut you out real quick. The only reason I'm going to say, I'm going to make this point. You know why that is? There's anchor businesses down there. You got the Raiders. You got all the casinos. You got Town Square. You got all these different anchor businesses. Aliante doesn't have a lot of anchors.
It's coming though.
You know what? You know what I said. I'm gonna say this on camera too. I almost wish maybe you can help with this. That we sit on the board of the community board, like the city board. I said that these studios, or not studios, but these stadiums and arenas. Mm-hmm. They should not have been inside of the Strip but on the outskirts. Because like anybody that knows Vegas, it's a grid. The inside of it is a grid, and then it's a Soup Bowl. And the Soup Bowl is the 15 and the 215. Correct. So essentially, I could start off in Southwest Summerlin where I live, and I could spin the block all around Vegas and end up back there in the circle if you know how to get there. And it's really easy to do. Mm-hmm. They should have put stadiums and arenas on the outskirts. They should have literally had one on each end of those areas. That way locals can drive in and out from work or to frequent. Mm-hmm. And then also people that fly in can go in different directions. So if you're a visitor, you get to go in different directions to those areas. And it obviously decongests the traffic, but then it also
moves the money around the city.
Yeah, it moves the money around the city. So an Aliante, for example, can have something to look forward to. And the proof of concept is the Arizona Cardinals.
I was just about to say that.
Arizona Cardinals. So if anybody that's been to Phoenix, they went to Glendale. I used to live there. I lived there twice off and on for about 2 years. And I remember first moving to Tempe and going out to Glendale to a Cardinals game, and there was nothing there. No. Then fast forward, I moved back, which is like maybe 10 years later, somewhere between 7 to 10 years later, Glendale is booming. I went back for work. Glendale is booming. And so it just shows you that all that business was driven there because there's anchoring businesses, like you said.
Didn't you have a poodle washing business out there or something like that?
I wish I had a poodle washing business. I would have ate in North Scottsdale on a poodle washing business. We need to start a poodle washing business in Vegas and in Phoenix.
You're going to be in Henderson and Summerlin only.
He got a poodle.
I already know. I know he got a poodle.
So So yeah, like, but you're right though, anchoring businesses and like Aliante, like I think didn't they upgrade the casino out in Aliante? No, they haven't upgraded yet. They upgraded yet. What did they upgrade?
We was talking about that for watching the football game. Them TVs dark to them, they like your old auntie TV. Man, they like your old auntie TV. You out there standing with a glare like
what is upgraded? Something's upgraded out there.
They've done a couple of the restaurants.
They're bringing another casino out to the
St. Rose. No,
it's further out north, Mountain's Edge.
Yeah,
and then they're supposed to be over there close to Aliante. They're supposed to be making a new development. Supposed to be looking like Summerlin.
Yeah,
so that's what all that is coming. That's what we but they are building. They're starting to build and develop.
There's a lot of housing going.
Yeah, so I mean, honestly, and
a lot of affordable housing.
Yeah, the real estate up there is great.
There's more space. You got more. I've been, like I said, I've been visiting. My kids. I used to send my kids up there to a sitter, one of the homies. And her place was huge.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
I won't
go for it.
The term affordable housing wrong. My wife will get mad at me because she works in affordable housing.
Okay.
It's not affordable housing. It's more affordable.
Right. More affordable housing.
Put it that way.
Not affordable housing, more affordable living.
Yeah.
Shout out to Miss Gray. We're going to have her on the show, too. We're going to bring her on to talk about the affordable housing.
But not to get too far away from it, but you had two more points. Did you finish the first one?
I finished the first two.
Okay.
Come on, Trump.
First two, okay.
So the last one I was just going to say, from a community aspect, right? We as a community have to do better about saying, okay, what are we going to do about what the Strip offers us, right? Mm-hmm. Because we can't just say, okay, it's acceptable to say, okay, I'm going to give you high-end restaurants and all this other stuff and whatnot, and say, okay, I can't get a Five Guys, I can't get a Mr. Fries, man, I can't get this, right? I want more affordable stuff to do on the Strip when I come down here.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to pay all this high-end stuff because you're catering to the tourists, right? So that's the other point I wanted to make. So we saw it with Emmett Smith's restaurant, right?
Yeah.
It didn't make it, right? It didn't last. It was a high-end restaurant. It wasn't affordable, and it wasn't catered to us.
Nope.
And I mean, even it was Emmett. You know, dude, Russian leader of the league,
absolutely,
right?
One of the best.
But it wasn't catered to us.
Yeah, it didn't matter how good
it was catered to the Strip, and it was catered to them tourists coming in and saying, "I'm gonna come in." But guess what? You got Maggio's right up top. Mm-hmm. You got the, I forget the other restaurant right up top, but you got
Capital Grill.
Yeah, Capital Grill right up top.
Yeah,
and I'm like, okay,
and they happy hour A1. I'm just letting you know.
Capital Grill,
but you compete with them. Yeah, and then I could walk across and go to Emerald Lagasse spot over at the Venetian or Palazzo.
Sorry,
I'm
Emmett.
like,
and the win over there.
Yeah, sorry, Emmett.
It's too many options.
Yeah,
and
don't let me not be a Cowboys fan either. Like I'm definitely not going to eat it.
Hey,
I didn't go with that joke.
I'm just joking.
He should have rushed and leadered them price down.
Right, but that's the thing. Is like look at what we're talking about. Though we talked about tourism being down. Like now, and I've had meetings with executives from House of Blues, Foundation Room in Mandalay Bay, and they're trying to figure it out. So you're saying we should still be able to support the Strip, but the Strip has to be able to say, all right, look, because you make so much money, right?
Yeah.
Discounting locals, not having us pay for parking, like they lost their minds when they start charging us for parking. Yeah. Now they starting to go away from it. There was somebody just posted not too long ago about the prices, and then you had Jackie Rosen, I believe that's her name, right? Jackie, yeah. Mm-hmm. Jackie goes and does a post downtown, and she's sitting somewhere eating affordable shrimp. And I'm just like, why?
Oh, you're talking about Mayor Shelley Berkeley.
Shelley Berkeley. I do apologize, not
cocktail.
Jackie Rose.
She got the
Shelley Berkeley.
Cocktail.
Forgive me.
It was off strip.
You saw that. You saw that? Yeah. So Shelley goes down and she's having affordable shrimp down somewhere near downtown, Ferguson's or somewhere near there. I don't know where she was at. But I'm like, now it's like you're begging for that type of business, but you should have been galvanizing and amplifying that business to begin with. They all go hand in hand, because what made Vegas big was being able to come here and live like a star and eat well and gamble.
The affordability, the catering to the guests and everything else like that. Like, I mean, even taking those buffets out. Like, even though some people frown upon buffets, buffet was. I mean,
I grew up on buffets.
I mean, I think everybody grew up on buffets, but at the same time, like, what's the hotel? The Rio. they had a world renowned buffet, and that's what drove traffic to the Rio. People came in town. The rooms were affordable. If you gambled, you got the comps. You used to be able to get some good shots and good liquor. You know, they liquored you up for you to keep gambling.
Yeah, that was the whole point.
So like they took that away. Now you got to pay, drop a dime for the drink now, and it's
coffee,
just like
everything is expensive.
Yeah, I mean $15 coffees in your daggone room is $25. Like, come on, let's do.
And of course, the pandemic and COVID changed a lot of things.
But why did it have to change something though? Like, if y'all want to make money, if y'all want people to come in, do they think that the top 10% is going to be able to sustain them as a hotel on a regular basis? So they going to Dubai now.
But from a business structure, you have to think about it from a top-down kind of aspect, right? Mm-hmm. Who owns the company? Right. What does their capital position look like?
Right.
How could they recover out of COVID, right? Mm-hmm. And MGM got capital out of the world. Sands, capital out of the world.
They sold all their real estate, bro. That was their first mistake.
Who is that?
All the casinos.
Well,
they sold off, so they're renters, they're tenants of their hotels now. Yeah, so like if you're a tenant and they raise the rent on you, so now you got to abide by what your landlord does, and that's kind of the scope of even the national real estate landscape.
Me and my wife do staycations all the time.
Sure, I do too.
It's $100 for the room, and then it's $300 in taxes,
tourist fees. Resort fees and stuff like that.
Yeah,
man, you got to put that finesse on them.
$400 for one night.
I put them finesse on them. I ain't gonna tell you what it is, especially if it's gonna be live. I finesse some jokes.
I don't. That's what I'm saying. Like, you're making all this money, it's not gonna hurt you to discount the locals, man. I think the biggest thing is it's also the process. Like, I got to go to the strip, I got to park.
Yeah,
that's gonna take 20 minutes to get out the garage, get from point A to point B. Like, certain places, if you know where to park, you going to, like, when I go to Wynn, I know where to park if I want to go shopping, right? I'm going into one of the stores and grab something real quick. I know exactly where to park at to get there. So it all comes down to that too, but it's just a process to get on the strip.
Oh, man.
And so when you're there, now I'm here. I just paid for parking. You down $50-$60 before you even get out the car.
It costs me less than Uber a lot of times.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, like, that's the thing is you
park somewhere free and then Uber right now.
Yeah. Like, and that's the thing is like you got to, but it's a strategy. Why do I have to? And I think that's the part where Vegas has a challenge.
That's a good way to look at it. You got to have a strategy.
It's a strategy to get on the strip, man.
As a local.
Yeah,
you do.
You do have to have a strategy, but you don't have to have to. Some places you do. I'll go back to the city of Phoenix, and I know Phoenix is not Vegas. Vegas is not Phoenix.
But we're in competition with them. So
absolutely. Yeah. So when you look at
Chicago,
the transit, they have a transit that goes from, I believe that transit goes from Scottsdale all the way downtown. Mm-hmm. So, and there's a parking ride from Scottsdale all the way downtown. Mm-hmm. So you basically park your car, you can hop on this transit or trolley or whatever this thing is, it's above ground, monorail or whatever. And you get on there and that thing could take you into Midtown all the way into downtown. So let's say if I'm in Scottsdale and I don't want to drive, I can hop on this and I can go right down there and catch a Phoenix Suns game.
Yeah. Sure, I did that when even on a plane. The airport is connected to that same train. Yeah. So I would hop on to go see college basketball games and the Phoenix Suns. I would fly in, go straight to the airport, hop on a train, wouldn't even have to do anything.
But I'd
be right there.
Strategy.
But I know from a Phoenix standpoint, we're in competition with them about talent. Mm-hmm. Like bringing talent to the city and about economic development. Mm-hmm. So they beat us out on a couple of contracts from an economic development standpoint, and especially from talent. Mm-hmm. People want to live in Phoenix more than they do in Vegas.
Phoenix is beautiful.
And they're like, it's one desert or another.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, it's 110 here, it's 110 there. I'll go to either one.
Well, it's actually hotter there.
Well, I mean, it'll melt the paint off your car sometimes.
Yeah.
It'd definitely be hotter there
because it's closer to Mexico. So you're getting closer toward that Aquarius cookie. But
my 125 ain't no joke.
But it was like,
but it's like, beautiful majority of the time.
Exactly. And
I prefer Vegas. I prefer Vegas over. I prefer Vegas over Phoenix.
No state taxes again. If you would, like Trump company, you can go down there. It's a little bit more favorable to that. So it's just a different state to that aspect. But we're in competition with them all the time. Orlando is another one. It's,
Convention Center.
Phoenix, Orlando. Dallas is another one. Where
I think that train is going to help Vegas as well.
I hope so.
Aspect.
If they get the light rail off, well, I won't say it's a light rail, it's a bullet train.
Yeah.
But they get that off the ground, it's going to be ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, the Cali people won't have to drive. I mean, I just took a trip to Cali, and I'm like, shoot, that 4 or 5 hour drive is ridiculous. When you get into the city, you got to get stuck in traffic, and I can get there in an hour.
Yep.
I can get there in an hour on a train.
Yep.
That's like taking the plane.
That's a good point you bring up about the bullet train. I think, and this is also the way I see it in Vegas, and I've talked about this off camera, and I'm putting it on camera, is in order for Vegas to grow, and I've seen Sisolak say this during COVID, where he was open to entertaining businesses coming and like really just taking over certain cities. You know, so like, regardless of how people feel about Tesla, but Tesla's a name that has come up. And let's say, I'm just using that as an example, but let's say Centennial is mostly Tesla based.
If it brings jobs, bring it.
And I believe
that's
they
what
used this formula based off of Zappos, because Zappos moved from Silicon Valley, took over downtown, and it pretty much made downtown thrive because they had a campus there. So like all these campuses for different businesses, right? So, but in order for businesses to come, this city has to grow. If you have 2 million to 3 million people here, and not everybody is qualified for the jobs that come. So if Hollywood 2.0 comes, they have to have people that are qualified to work those jobs. So I know one of the incentives was Wahlberg was working with
UNLV
and the Fertitas, or forget who else he was working with. There was a third group, but UNLV was to build this pipeline and to say, okay, we're going to offer jobs to UNLV students that are in film. But let's be realistic. Not everybody's going to take that job, because if I'm a UNLV student, I might have an opportunity to stay local. I might have an opportunity to go to New York. Oh my God, I've always wanted to go to New York. I always wanted to live in LA. I always wanted to live in Atlanta. I always wanted to live in Boston, right? All of these markets that are big in film, but particularly LA, New York, and Atlanta.
Yeah.
Now you might lose to these cities, but you have to also there might be some people in those cities or in other markets that saying, you know what, I want a job in film. I've been wanting to go to Vegas. I want to see what Vegas is like. Yeah. So now you have to have these jobs ready and available to market to people outside. Yeah. And you have to, what if I'm in those industries and I got a family and I've been hearing negative things about Vegas as a city for family, right? So you have to develop the local market. And in order for that to happen, you have to have people that are qualified, that are going to move here, that are also going to be able to want to sustain a living in Vegas. So there's this need for Vegas to grow, but it has to grow locally.
Yeah.
You know, and I feel like then that's where the tourists or the strip or the ones that control the strip to say, okay, they can monetize in the local market too. They can just monetize in a different way, and it doesn't take away from the tourism. But at the end of the day, these things are changing.
Yeah.
So when you look at when you talk about the bullet train, you're talking about Prim. Prim has to develop, because if the bullet train comes, who's going to work there? They have to put that's also where the airport's supposed to be.
Yeah.
So now we're having a second airport. We have a bullet train in Prim. I'm not going to, if I live in Aliante, I'm not going to, or wherever, if I'm on the other side of Vegas, I'm not going to want to commute. I might not want to commute from the other side of Vegas. I might want to find a place in Prim. Now Prim has to change, because now you're talking about anchoring business. Yeah. So what does that do for the strip?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if I'm one of the casinos, if I'm one of the big dogs in the city, I'm like, hey man, what's going on in Prim? You know, it has to happen. You know, because that's the thing is like, there's an airport there. Yeah. So I'm gonna find a place to live in Prim. So that means more business has to come to Prim.
I kind of laughed because my wife and I went to the Keith Sweat concert a couple of weeks ago, right? And I said, okay, I'm not driving an hour back to the house, right? So I'm gonna book a room at Prim. Not the best experience.
Yeah, I bet.
Not the best experience, right? My wife didn't even take a shower. She was like, we got to get the hell out of here. This is a place to sleep, right?
Prim, step your game up.
Hey, it was a spot to sleep at, and that was it. But at the end of the day, I get what you're saying, right? It's a support thing, right? So we have to build the support services around it. Yes. But from the bullet train aspect, they need to do the same thing they did with the Raiders games. we need to have shuttles. We need to have. So my wife used to work in Prim. And they have a shuttle that would pick them up over at it used to be Terrible's Casino. I don't know what it's called now. The one off of Trop and
I know you're talking
Paradise.
about. Yep.
But anyway, it used to be Terrible's, and I can't remember the name. But anyway, they have a shuttle that would pick them up there, and it would take them down the old Las Vegas Boulevard and take them the long way and get them down to it was a shuttle that would take them to Prim, and they would go work when she was working in retail and stuff. And I was like, okay, we need to have similar systems set up, right? So the same thing they did with the Raiders games. You can catch the bus at Aliante Casino, catch the bus for free, and ride down to the stadium.
Raiders games.
Yeah, for Raiders games. You don't even have to take transportation. You don't have to take Uber or nothing. It's a free shuttle, and it park you right in front of the stadium. You ain't got to walk, half a mile to get to the stadium and all of that. They pick you up right there at Aliante.
Wow.
So similar things, like I said, Vegas is good with crowd control. Same thing with F1 that's coming up right now. F1 is going to allow people to walk across the strip, right? And then they're going to have shuttles all over the place. They got the only bad thing, everything is porta potties, but eventually they'll figure that out because they don't want people just going in and out of the casino like that, and they don't want people to have to walk that far to go to a restroom. But I don't know how they'll fix it outside of the F1 structure itself. But eventually they'll fix it. But anyway, they're figuring out all these different aspects, right? And the more we do it, the better we get at it. One of the biggest events at the stadium was the K-pop. The Korean stars that came there did the K-pop concert and all that. It was, I think he said it was 60,000 people fooled up the whole stadium.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
K-pop is huge.
Yeah, and I was like, okay. Usually, they make it a shoehorn, right? But they made the whole stadium open for that. And I was like, usually they don't do that. Usually it's a shoehorn. Even for Beyonce, it was a shoehorn.
Right.
It wasn't the whole stadium was open, and they had them in the middle of the stage and all that. And I was like, dang. I was like, Beyonce didn't even have that many people. And my wife saw Beyonce twice at the stadium. And I'm like, shoot, Beyonce was a trip.
Well, let me dial it back a little bit. Tell us a little bit more about the Urban Chamber for people that don't know what the Urban Chamber is, but also let them know what's going on in the community, what initiatives that you guys have going on, and how can they figure out ways to get involved or figure out ways to help their business, because that's what we're here for, to help these businesses.
Absolutely. So the Urban Chamber, our motto is always, we are your business advocate. So our number one job is to be your advocate. Be your voice when it comes to political action, when it comes to access to capital, when it comes to building resources, relationships, talking to some of these big corporate partners we talked about a little bit earlier, the MGMs, the Sands Corps, all these different folks, getting them those resources and relationships. We provide programming on a regular basis. We have 2 monthly events that we do on a regular basis, Coffee and Commerce, which you've attended several times. Coffee and Commerce, second Wednesday of every month. We do Direct Connect, which is the third Thursday of the month. But we also partner with other organizations, right, like Mariposa. We do our event, the multiplication event over at Mariposa, which is every Wednesday. It's just a different theme every Wednesday. We have our regular program that's going on right now with our Money Smart series. We actually
that's you talking about on that one, right?
Yeah. Well, I did a Money
speaker?
Smart series. Yeah, I did one just talking about access to capital. We have one coming up Thursday. It'll be at 5 p.m. over at our office. One of the other things I want to mention too, we own our own incubator. So we own the building at 1951 Stella Lake. So we're right up the street from Grits Cafe. We own the building. It offers low market rent. Allows businesses to grow and then grow out of the building. Hopefully, at some point, they can go and pay market rent somewhere else. But the incubator provides a one-stop shop for businesses. So we have the Small Business Development Center in there. We have SCORE in there. We have couple other resources that
conference room that's available.
We have a conference room that you can rent out. We have a training room that's available to rent out as well. We've got several businesses that are in there. Our largest space, I believe, is about 44,000 square feet right now. It's got an office warehouse in the back. But yeah, it's definitely a lot of programming going on. We have several signature events. We just had our Green Tie Awards. You didn't make it. You didn't make it.
I was out of town.
Call him out.
I was at a family barbecue.
No.
I'm just joking. I was out of town though.
No, you was with your daughter, but that's cool. But no, we just had our Green Tie Awards, was one of our signature events. That's like our gala for the year. But we have several events coming up. We'll have our State of the Chamber coming up soon. We'll have Women in Business Politics coming up soon. But there's always regular programming. Oh, other thing, we do a Toastmasters group. So we have a regular Toastmasters group that meets. And then we partner with everybody, right? So like the Nevada Partners, we work with Nevada Partners.
C. Blair and Associates.
Yep. Right on. Yeah. We partner with everybody.
Shameless plug.
Yeah. Sending over resources, sending over those relationships, right? And making sure that people get the access that they need, getting those resources and relationships. So whatever that means. Like I said, I'm a connector. Our president is Cameron C.H. Miller.
Shout out to Cameron.
Dude.
Definitely good,
dude. Our key employee, though, is Delisa Stewart. Okay. Delisa takes care of everything. That's my executioner. She takes care of everything. So... but definitely, we got a dope operation. We're a small but mighty team. We got about 350 to 400 members right now. It fluctuates between grant income and stuff like that. But anyway, we're about 350, I think, right now in membership.
Okay.
But we were up to 500 at one point. But we'll get back to that number shortly.
Definitely.
So,
probably at the start of the new year.
Tell us how we can find all this information.
So urbanchamber.org. So urbanchamber.org. Our office number is 702-648-6222. But yeah, urbanchamber.org, and everything is on the website.
Okay.
Yeah, and info@urbanchamber.org.
They do have Instagram, social media things.
Everything. We're on social media. We're on Facebook. We're on.
That's the new website.
Instagram.
So
I know, right? I'm telling you.
What about your personal brand?
Yeah.
My personal brand.
Like how can we find you?
Man, I never even think about my personal brand. But I guess on Instagram, I'm Cigar Banker.
Okay, I was about to say cigar banker,
He is a cigar aficionado. He and I both are champions.
So I'm a banker by trade.
Yeah.
I love small business though, but I've been in banking for about 20 years now, doing access to capital. I was an underwriter, then I started doing lending, doing business development activities, going on more to the sales side. But that's how I met this dude, right? Me and Kurt and all that.
Good
but
brother.
Tell them about what the SBA programs and the state of that, what's going on with SBAs and how people can get access to that type of capital and how easy it is, but also some of the pitfalls that people go through when they're trying to get SBAs.
Yeah, one of the things I always say about SBA is just stay ready, get your stuff in line, right? Get your financials in order. Get your financials in order. Make sure your credit is in order.
Okay.
Make sure you have a team around you, because a lot of times when we deal with these business owners, right, they're good at building widgets, or they're good at making T-shirts, or they're good at this. They're not good at understanding their books. They're not good at understanding their insurance or whatever, right? Make sure you have that team together. Who's your insurance agent? Who's your bookkeeper, your CPA? Who's your attorney? Who did your structuring of your business? All that kind of stuff, right? Make sure all that stuff's in line before you go to a lender. Because when you go to a lender, I'm going to ask you questions that's probably going to throw you off guard. And it's probably going to say, okay, why is he asking me this? Why is he interrogating me? Why is he giving me all the 21 questions and all that? Right. And it's not that. It's SBA is saying this. SBA has certain requirements around us giving you that guarantee, right? Course, the whole point of it is you to get the guarantee from SBA.
Right.
I don't want to sue you. Right. I want to go to the SBA and say, SBA, pay off this loan.
Right.
But if you don't do your stuff right, now I got to sue you.
Yeah.
And it doesn't work right.
Right.
So I would rather go to SBA and say, SBA, go pay off my loan. Right. So, but the state of SBA, even though the shutdown is over, there's still like a 30, 60-day delay with everything. What we're finding out now is because everybody got laid off, now we're dealing with the layoff situation. They don't have enough staff. And so even though they're open, there's not enough staff to process the deals that are coming in. And typically, in the last like 4 or 5 years of my career, I have not been able to take December off. I've been closing so many loans in December because people want to get stuff done before the end of the year so they can write it off on their taxes.
For sure.
But now they're shut down. Now we're pushing everything to January. It's an odd situation, but now that's what we're communicating to a lot of borrowers, and then talking to them about being their advocate with the SBA and just saying, hey, you can't communicate with SBA directly, but I can, right? So I'll talk to them and I'll see what's going on. But even some of my SBA partners, it's hard to deal with them. Right. I know the district office very well. Saul Ramos, shout out to him, our district director. We've got a few other folks that I work with, but it's just like it's hard getting them on the line or even getting an answer because they can't get an answer because they got to get an answer from the Capitol. And I'm like, okay, we're just kind of in a weird space right now. I mean, this was the longest shutdown we've ever experienced.
Yeah, it's a big backlog of business, but also, like you said, people are fired. Or there's some positions that aren't able to pick up the phone and get the things done that you need. Our guys are trying to get done. So it's going to be, if you're trying to grow your business right now, make sure that your credit is in order. Yeah. Make sure that your financials are in order. Do the basics because the banks are still lending. Yeah. And the banks still are lending out lots of money that can help you grow and scale your business.
And I had a pipeline call with my team yesterday with my institution I work with for my day job. The first thing they said, what's in your pipeline? Mm-hmm. They want to keep moving. Yeah. We want to keep moving. We want to keep getting deals in. Mm-hmm. And the other thing I'll mention too is talking about what the SBA is going through, there are still alternative lending sources, right?
100%.
So you talk about a Blair and Associates, right? Finding those alternative resources. We started talking about Access Community Capital with a Nick Steele and his group, right? There's alternative solutions.
CDFIs, yeah.
There's still alternative solutions available, and we have a direct line through the chamber with some of these alternative solutions and with the state level as well. So you start talking about CDFIs, those are licensed through the state level. So you talk about an SSBCI that does a lot of venture capital, things of that nature. Then you got Startup NV, you got there's a lot of sources to still get funding, right? Come prepared.
Yes.
Get your stuff together.
Yes.
And I would always say work with a business advisor. If you have an opportunity, work with a business advisor. There's some free ones, but the money always buys you better services, right? But at the same time, there are some free ones, but if you can pay for it, it'll buy you better services. You're going to get better knowledge. You're going to get better criteria, better output, and you probably have a better inroad to getting that access to capital that you're looking for. And especially presenting the SBA. You don't want any hiccups going to SBA because the bank is going to quiz you and the SBA is going to quiz you. And we don't want that backup information coming at you. So, yeah. But there's a lot of aspects to it right now. But it's just a strange time, man. I never seen this in my career in a long time. So it's almost as bad as 2009, 2010.
Your boy giving chaos right now. So, it's a lot of confusion going on. So, I mean, what you got to do is stay close to your community, stay close to people that's really out here trying to champion all these small to medium-sized businesses and help them. But also, once you get your ducks on the road, and if your businesses are doing well right now, that's the time to go to the bank, not when you need the money. That's the bad part. Yeah, everybody thinks that, I'm good, my cash is good, my revenues are good, I can go to the bank right now and go get this, and I don't need the money. I'm cash is king, and blah, blah, blah. No, go leverage it at this point in time and have some of that money sitting on the sideline. If you got all these NFL teams, they got backup quarterbacks. So you got to understand, a backup quarterback is needed. The Cleveland Browns right now went to Shador. You see what I'm saying? Like, they three quarterbacks. What I'm trying to that's a whole nother story. But shout out to Shador right now and the Sanders family. But they're three quarterbacks down right now. Yeah. Every quarterback in the NFL almost has gotten hurt at some point in time. Yeah. So what happens? You got to touch that sideline money or that sideline player. That sideline player is that bank capital that's sitting on the sidelines. You've already had good credit, good revenues, and good standing as a business to go get. Yeah. If just in case you need to scale, you need an opportunity, or you need working capital, or you got to pay for payroll or something when things get tight. So that's what a lot of people don't understand. That's what you got to take in. You got to take their ego out and say, hey, now is the time for me to go get that sideline, my backup quarterback.
Yeah, and if for some reason somebody says, okay, I don't want to take the easy road and go work with a Kurt, and I want to do a hard road, please interview your bankers.
For sure. Please
interview your bankers, your lenders, whoever you're working with. But that's what Kurt does, right? So go to Kurt. Go to a Blair and Associate versus doing something like that. But if you don't want to do it, I get it. It may be a personality thing. You don't like his look or whatever. I don't know. But
hey, I'm a good guy.
If you decide to do it a different route, please interview your bankers.
For sure.
Interview them. Make sure they're a good relationship fit for you. They have the good products for you and what you're looking to accomplish. Because a lot of business owners don't do that.
And ChatGPT does not have all the answers.
Oh my God! If I get one more legal document written off of ChatGPT, I'm gonna lose it.
ChatGPT is getting people messed up out here, y'all. So they giving bad legal advice. They giving bad financial advice. So double check, triple check.
Yeah.
And make sure that you're doing the right thing and make sure that you're managing everything in the right
There are
capacity.
experts in the industry
For sure.
There are experts for a reason.
Man.
Like I said, from the chamber aspect, that's what we always say. So
Man.
build your team out, get ready, stay ready.
Yeah.
So you don't have to get ready for the project, for the contract, for the access to capital. Be ready at this time. Don't do that.
Right.
So,
man, Jaron, thank you.
Thank you, man.
Definitely.
Thank you very much.
You gave a lot of insights today, man. I want to applaud you for what you're doing in the community, man. You champion. You're being a voice for the small to medium sized businesses, and everything that you guys are doing over at the Urban Chamber is great, man. So we got everything about you. Let us know how we can be of assistance and how we can bring some more businesses on here so we can highlight what they're doing and we can try to get that pipeline to their business. And people are going to be checking in and trying to come to Vegas, and we're going to be like, hey, go to these establishments. We already named a few, but there's also some other guys that's underneath the rug that's really just doing some good things out here in the community. So we're trying to highlight them all here at Translation. I mean, I'm Kurt Blair, and this is my co-host, Nick. Man, thank y'all for listening, man. We have Jarron Gray, and we're going to applaud you and keep going as long as we can.
Look forward to building with you, brother. I hope that there's plenty that we can do together. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, peace.